All right, you guys, here we go. Laying out some roof tabs. Hopefully we get them all in line and measure once, don't do it twice.
Yeah, not like all this other shit that I messed up. Thank you for this tool. I don't know if you guys have ever seen these. I haven't seen it until Donnie brought it, but
Order it off Facebook.
it's gonna come in pretty handy for putting my roof tabs on. And,
No more burnt fingers.
Yeah. Thank you.
A little helping hand.
Handy. Well, Father's Day morning, and we got the roof on here. Just drilling it now. Then we got to figure out roof rack. We got tons of stuff to do. Never ending, right, Donnie?
Never ending.
Does the measurements look correct?
Not an inch out.
So my beautiful wife got me a Father's Day card. And first thing I said was, head of the house? Oh, I get to be the boss, huh?
I said, but make sure you actually read it.
With lots of love from the CEO, chairman of the board, president, and manager of the house.
AKA the boss.
She's the best.
You're the best.
Love you, babe. Thank you. Just love getting worked out first thing Monday morning.
Yeah, it's a good start to the day that way. It sets your tone for the week.
I like the pre-workout workout. Myself. Yeah, that's you.
Oh.
Such a beautiful morning. I'm sure the boys down in Phoenix are melting. Jess is watering her roses and stuff.
I have some of my purple roses that I got towards the end of last year that's got some pretty blooms on it.
All of them are looking pretty nice.
I need to get some more plants in here.
Uh-oh, your little naked people, the squirrels are knocking them over.
I know, that's because they go so nuts. The squirrels are so aggressive.
This is her camera. She's...
I need to get another bird bath too.
Yes. It's officially getting hot. I've got so many things to do today, I'm not sure what to start with, but I got them rear shock mounts I need to get tied into the cage and all kinds of dumb little things. I need to get some more parts ordered, heater and stuff. I'm not sure if I'm gonna be able to fit AC yet.
I have to go get my nails done. It's rough.
I want her job. I need me a wife that can build me a nice ride and I can destroy it. All right, time for me to get back to work. This morning I got a lot of things going on in my head. I started measuring these seats up and stuff because I've got to get this seat cut down. It only comes a certain width and they didn't do custom seats, so I'm gonna cut 5 inches out of it and then have it reupholstered. I don't need them center seat belts and stuff, so we'll redo that panel. But I was talking to Brian Klein down in the valley, a guy I went to school with, and he's probably gonna do it. He does a lot of hot rod stuff. And then I'm also looking at incorporating my fuel tank and my speaker boxes because Jess wants the baddest ass stereo system. So we're gonna do 10s. It's gonna have 4 6s up in the roof, and then it's gonna have 2 6s in the doors. And this thing should be pretty badass. I can't wait. And anyways, my speaker box, I was talking to Nathan from Diamond Audio, and my speaker box, you know, for 10s, I was asking him what I needed and stuff, and I gave him my measurements of what I had, and he's gonna put some numbers together and see if we should fire the subs into the box and put ports in it and stuff. So I'm waiting for him to get back with me, but I was looking, you know, my fuel tank coming up this high into the vehicle, and then I will be 9 inches from the top of the frame rail to the bottom of the front of the tank, which puts me right at the middle of the diff at full bump. And then back here in the back, I would be that much below. I might be off on my measurements, but anyways, there's about 3 inches difference from the front to the back. And I did the numbers on it, being 4 inches up into the vehicle, and that only put me at like 28 gallons, which I really want more because I don't like stopping for fuel. And so I'm looking at now going up here to 8 inches. And what that's going to do is I'm going to probably do like a TJ gas fuel tank bezel. I need to get online and see if I can order one, but I'll come right through here and into the cab here and put a filler neck that hooks on. And then of course I'm going to have a oval plate so I can access to my fuel mat and stuff, all the hoses and pumps inside. The pumps will sit on top just like my race car. I'm going to use Weldon pumps. I was talking to Jack from Pyrotech this morning, ordering all my fuel pump stuff and everything, and we're going to get this fuel tank going. But when I brought it up to here, it ended up being around 38 gallons. I just added 4 inches to the height. And then what I think I'm going to do, I'm going to be 16 deep so I can put my woofer box in front, and then it'll rake up or whatever behind the seat, and the seat will fit. So lots of incorporating everything, you know, making sure everything's going to fit together and not screw me in the end. And the rear seats back here, I'll fit. I'm not going to fit comfortable, and the seats are more for grandkids and stuff like that. So we're not really worried about the seats. We're building this thing to party and pre-run and have a good time. So it'll mostly just be Jess and I in here. Taylor from UPS showed up. I got some stuff for the Scrambler. Got the new Ultra Factor 55 hook. And we got the Factor 55 fair lead. Pretty sweet. And all the goodies to jerk some folks around. And my steering shaft looks like it showed up from Hal. I love these guys. They just get this stuff out so quick, and now I can get that steering column done this week. Here's what this shaft looks like. It comes 3 foot, and you get the sweet joint that has the right spline on it. This spline's on, so this comes through. I'll weld my steering column or my steering quick connector on this side, and then this slides through the column that I made, and then you put this on. That way everything comes apart, blows apart very nicely. It's gonna come through that firewall. This will be sticking out of the firewall, and then I'll go on down to the orbital valve. So I was studying this, make sure I have room for that TJ fuel filler cap and stuff. I'll kind of show you what I'm talking about. I did the same thing on my dad's when I built it in 2005. And it's just easy and clean, you know, little bezel and stuff. And now they make like a door for it that's, I don't know if it's plastic or billet, but I got it online. It's probably just a plastic one, but I ordered that, and hopefully it'll fit on the corner of the back of the Scrambler. Luckily, Jess showed me how to get on Amazon and click and add to my cart, and then I just tell her and she gets it for me because I'm not a computer person. So here's what I come up with for fuel tank dimensions. I'm going to be 16 deep in the front, 14 at the back. It's going to be 16 inches from front to back, which puts me 2 inches off this differential at full bump, and then 36 inches wide. And then the way I figure that out, 36 times 15, 15 being these two, you know, splitting the difference so it's not raked. So I got 36 times 15 times 16 divided by 231. And that equals 37.40 gallons. And that's gonna put me 5 inches up. So I got 10 inches left for speaker box, or I can incorporate that speaker box where all this stuff is buried underneath it so you don't notice it. And then the speaker box is right here against the back seat. And then I still have a little bit of storage, and I'm also gonna have my fuel pumps in the top of the tank, and then right through here is where that filler neck will come through. I'm not sure what I need to do to get that in there yet. Probably just be a hole with a flange or something. I'm not sure. I'll make something cool. And then that fuel filler will be right here, that door. So I just have to wait till that door comes from Amazon. Probably be here tomorrow, LOL. They deliver pretty fast, but, and then I can figure out all that before I actually build my tank, make sure it's gonna work. Now it's time to get back on the shock stuff, the stuff I started to do the other day when I found out my cage wasn't straight. So a little something like this, got that zeroed out. This is the one I made the other day that fit one side but not the other side. It sits a little lower than I want it, or than I planned, but I think it's gonna work out and I'll just make the other one match. It's not enough to worry about. To bust the old ARB compressor out, make sure we don't take up too much space where we can't get this in there. I love running these. They work good for not just airing up tires, but anything utility. You can run air tools off of it. You can do all kinds of stuff with it. Air up your floaty mattress at Rubicon, or flat just run your lockers. So yeah, ARB compressors, they make a lot of stuff. So we're gonna start by mounting this compressor right here, and then I'll have a T that goes into this. This is gonna be my air tank, and I usually mount enough compressors that I've made a pattern, so I made it where I can do it from outside. I'll punch it, get it hung in there, and then I'm gonna take this masonite and I'm gonna come up off of there to here and incorporate some kind of a cup holder or something in it. This is one that I took out of my Razor or my General. They make these in like spun billet or some shit like that, so I know it's the exact same size, and I'll make it where this sits down in here. It's in there pretty nice. It's nice having that pattern around. Now I can go in and make my upper shock mount stuff. I got these upper tubes welded in finally. Been trying to do that for a week, I feel like, but yeah. I did the 4 outer holes. It comes with 4 bolts. It's got 8 holes in it, but comes with 4, so I just used all the outer ones. I took my tube stack tube and made that so I can get a hole cut out. Now we'll go try it over here. So next I'm gonna take this masonite. I've got it, the Coop right up in here, and I'm gonna trace this and mark it up where I want it to end and start. And then we'll cut that out. This is what I started going for, but I don't think I'm liking it. I think it's gonna be too sharp cornered and it just doesn't fit everything else. I was thinking, you know, if I put a window in it and stuff, but I can't really go down here with any gusseting or anything, and I think just a tube is gonna flow better, and then maybe I'll incorporate some kind of aluminum shelf into it that has the cup holder, because doing this, you know what I mean, it just takes up a lot of space, and instead of doing the drop-in cup holders, I think I'll just make my own out of tubing and weld them in, and then I can make them where they fit my cans a little better. So you can see it's kind of loose. I like it to fit nice and tight, but I think I'm gonna do tubing. Okay, that was easy to make, but I don't like it. I think what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna make this set up here all the way, and I'm gonna make it hit that junction, and then that'll give me room in here to do something else. Like that'll give me more room for my cup holder if I wanna do that. And I just like the way that it flows better. And the only thing gonna be sitting back here is little kids, or maybe a big drunk every once in a while, but not me, that's all I gotta say. 3, damn it. hate doing shit 3 times. 2 times is bad enough, but 3 times? Maybe this one will stick. I think this one's gonna be better. Getting closer. Okay, I think I like this. So now I just got to do some other stuff to this bracket before I spot this on, because I need some other gusseting right here in the corner. So I'll get that done and then I'll spot this together and do the other side. My next little program, I got to trim this. This is going to be like a gusset that fills in above that bracket to the cage. And look who came home and just got all kinds of comfortable. She's wearing the wrong kind of attire though for that kind of lounging. You're gonna have to get something on.
My scrubs don't work.
Well, everything works for me, but this isn't Coop picturesque. I mean, the pose is, but you just.
I'm in it. It's Coop picturesque.
I know, but where's your Coop outfit?
Underneath.
Exactly. Where's your skin?
Get to work.
I am, damn it. She's no fun, guys. She's always all business. Here's the piece I was making, and basically it's gonna go like this, and that little section right there will weld to the tube underneath, and this is kind of a gusset acting thing, so get that on there, then I can put it in there for good. So here's what we got. See that gusset right there? And it's a little filler that's in there. And I'll weld that in, and then I can put my tube in. And I got that tube in. You can see that gusset over there. I'm gonna put one more on this new tube right here that kind of matches it, hopefully. And just looking at it, you can kind of see, you know, it kind of goes at that same angle, sending it up to that middle junction, so it's not just in the middle of this tube. You know, it closes the back off a little bit, but I actually set back there and it's almost like it's a handle or something, you know. And then what this is gonna do is it's gonna give me space to maybe put a cup holder here. I'll build a piece of aluminum cover for this, and I'm not sure. Maybe I won't do nothing. This side's going to be a little different. I know it doesn't match, but I didn't want to get too crazy and big because I don't want it sticking out there where, you know, it's 3/16. I don't want it carving no one up. And the tube goes up, so the radius is a lot bigger. But I think it's gonna look good and give it just enough gusset effect. 3rd time's a charm, I hope, because it's in there. I got that all welded up. Kind of see what it looks like. I think it looks pretty sweet. Tied in good enough, and then I'll weld that. I'll go ahead and build this side before I weld it. But I think it's gonna work out good. Okay, passenger side's ready. I just gotta get it in there and spot it, and then I'll continue the rest of it. Well, it was a long day's work figuring these out and getting them in there. The biggest thing is just figuring out what I wanted to do, and I'm pretty happy with it. It turned out clean, and if I want, I could panel them in or do whatever. And that might happen when I get my stereo equipment for mounting speakers, but for the most part, I think he wants me to mount them, 4 of them in the roof, 4 6s in the roof. There'll be 2 tins on top of the tank in a box, and then there'll be 2 6s in the doors. So can't wait to hear what it sounds like, but you never know. And then I'll probably incorporate some kind of aluminum work here, make a cup holder or something. We'll have to see, or maybe even some kind of storage. So that's all I got done for the day was that, and man, I feel like a loser all day to put 4 little tubes in there and tie them in. But it turned out pretty sweet. That's my shock mount. And then when the cage lifts out, it all comes with it. And you can kind of see it's cut out for the shock. So there's a big hole in there when it's gone. Oh yeah, I got my ARB compressor mounted also. So I'll start getting some stuff plumbed here after I get a few more things in. I might work on battery box tomorrow, I'm not sure. Battery box, seatbelt eyelets. I just keep trying to scratch things off my list. As soon as I get some components to put in the dash, I'll start cutting them in. I don't want to get ahead of myself, and I also need to do some kind of heat. I was thinking maybe even AC if the compressor fits. It should, but I need to cycle this thing. I'm still waiting for shocks. As soon as the shocks get here, I sent the links out. Brannick built some nice links. I sent them out to get them gold anodized. That way I don't have to screw with them later when it's time to leave. Just trying to get everything I can think of done. Well, I couldn't help it. I made some of these. I don't know if I like it though. I don't know. I need to get back and look at it. Probably tape it up there, but I made a couple of them. I had a couple of bins set up for that, so I went ahead and cut them out. I don't know if I'm gonna use them though. Your yard's greening up, dear.
I know, I need some more plants.
The plant lady. I killed all your plants last year.
Yeah, you did. Way to
I
go.
left them out in the frost. Poor girl.
That's why I'm not planting any baskets. I'm only doing my perennials to fill up the garden.
This is looking very nice.
Yes, it is. It's beautiful.
I prepared Jess a nice little breakfast, and she's out here resting after she worked me out. Come and eat, dear.
Okay, thank you. This looks delicious.
Hash browns and scrambled eggs.
And a jalapeno.
Because you're spicy.
Yes, I am.
I think I know what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna take this bracket and I need to make it taller. It needs to be above this link mount, and the hoses need to go that way. That way they kind of arc up over, and when the suspension moves, they just go up and down in between the pulleys and the fans. So it's kind of critical just from past stuff that I've mounted. You know, you want them free and up in there, so that orbital valve is going to be as close to this fan as I can get it, so that them hoses go right through here. And then I'm going to do sheet metal and then window it out so you can get your hands in here to get fittings on and off, and just try and keep it simple. You know, I could put a tube across here and mount it to a tube, but it's just overkill. It's just too much crap in the way, and when you want to work on something, it's nice to be able to get your hands in there, and I'm all about being able to work on stuff. So we'll go ahead and start by getting this bracket off of here and make a new bracket. It is pretty nice though. When you buy these from Howe, you can buy the bracket and it comes with gussets and everything. And you know, I started cutting on this one already thinking, oh, that's gonna work where I want it, but I'm gonna go ahead and end up building one just because I want it in a different spot. I transferred my holes. Now I'm gonna punch them out and hole saw that. I made this panel bigger, then I can do whatever, get it where I want it, and then start tying pieces into it. Like some of the important stuff showed up today, so I can get that done too. That's gonna be pretty simple. Cutting a little window in this thing just to give it some style. I'm addicted to work, I guess, LOL. do this, I try to make sure it's perfect. Especially on these ones I have to hand file because they're so small, I can't get a tool in there. Well, at least I don't have a tool small enough. So I try to make it perfect. Then I'll file it. I got this little small triangle file I use for the flats, and then I get after it with the round one. Then I'll take the round one, go up into the corners just a little bit. And it works out pretty good that way. Then if you're doing a lot of this stuff, like I'll take it out of the vise and just put it in on an angle like this, and it kind of holds it really good, and that's how I get a little bit of the radius. And you can see it looks pretty good once I do that. And I left this piece on here just so I could clamp it when I was cutting it with the bandsaw, or the, whatever you call it, the stupid saw. But then I'll just trim that off. Sand it. What do you think? And then you want to give it that machined edge look. You just take this barrel sander, and it looks better than most factory brackets. Very clean. Now I'll do the other piece that braces it. I've kind of made a pattern. I rolled it a little bit and broke it so that I can see what I'm gonna do. And then I'm gonna cut a little window out in it. And that's the reason I wanted to shape it first, because it has to be the shape that I need it to put the right size window in. And I think what I'm gonna do is leave probably an inch perimeter and go to a bigger corner radius, just so it's got a little more strength, and hopefully still be able to get your hand through there and stuff. I don't know. I'll see what it looks like after I draw it on a piece of metal. Well, my little squirrel watcher, her batteries died on her camera because she didn't give me the solar stuff. She wanted me to put an extension cord out there. I'm like, what's wrong with the solar stuff? So now I'm gonna mount her solar stuff so she can get back to squirrel watching. I said, all you gotta do is come into the shop. You wanna watch a bunch of squirrels.
Watching the squirrels is very fun. They're so cute to see. But the birds, and identifying the birds is...
I might have to get longer screws. I didn't know the bark was so heavy. Guess I could have brought out an extension cord for you, LOL.
Well, if that doesn't get enough solar real fast, you might be.
Oh boy. See what I deal with, everybody? The squirrel watchers. So next, I'm gonna do a 1-inch radius. So I'm taking my tube stack and punching that center for 1 inch. Then I won't have to try to line it up on the punch over here. So then we'll go over here. Oh, I'm gonna have to change this tool. Switch that up to 1 inch. And once we do the 1 inch, then we will pretty good for lining that up. Then you know exactly where your center's at. Then I just go in there and saw that out, clean it up, and start rolling it. I wanted to punch this out first, that way when I put that curvature in it, I'm only bending these two sides. I'm not bending all this crap that I'm getting rid of. Then what I like to do, I like to take the flat disc and just where it's flat, straighten it out real nice. Be sure not to get into your corner radiuses, and then once I'm done, then I'll go over it with a barrel sander. But this just keeps it, barrel sander, you know, you take a chance of making it all dippy and stuff. So I just flatten it out like that. And it's even better if you got like a small little 3-inch roll-lock disc or something. Yep, not getting into my corners, and then next will be the barrel sander. It's also very critical when you're using the barrel sander to keep it moving, and I'll oscillate in and out and just everything, and never sit still. You keep it moving back and forth, and that's how you get your nice finish. And light pressure also keeps it from chattering, and if you overspeed it, what it'll do is it takes it out of round, like it unbalances it. So put a little pressure back into it and it'll smooth it out where it's not chattering. Voila. So you see my line, the first line on there, that's where my brakes are gonna start. And then this is where it breaks back the other way. And on this side, I put all the brakes. That's every 1/4 inch. I'll just kind of bump it very lightly to get that radius. And then I'll sand it when I'm done and you won't notice any of the brake lines. Okay, I'm gonna start braking it just lightly. And when I say lightly, I mean it's just very, very small bumps on it. I'll get a few going and then I'll check my radius. And we'll go over here and look at it and see. Looks like I'm gonna need more, a little bit more than what I'm doing. Yeah, quite a bit more. So let's go back over here again. Redo them a little heavier this time. You just gotta kind of play with it to get it right. It's the big thing, is just take your time and don't mess up your part. So we're going back to the first one. And once you do this a little bit, you figure out, oh yeah, that's a good spot. And I got some lines on here I try to kind of use for a gauge, like, oh yeah, I'm gonna go to that line, and that seems to be pretty good. Yeah, hopefully this is a little better. And I can see my brake flexing a little bit. This is a little heavy for this brake. I've been gonna make some things to go in here to make it a little more rigid to go in where them bolts are at. I just haven't. All right, we'll keep going. Check that again. See what she looks like. This is how I get my exercise, lots of walking around in the shop. Yeah, it's looking like I might have put a little much in it. I'm gonna take some out. And I just use we call it big green around here. I think this is going to do it, and then I'll put that back brake in it and see how she looks. Pretty close. Just a little bit more, and then I'll brake it the other way. Okay, what do you think? And then I'll put some kind of another piece on top and down the side of this one, just to make it more of a rigid part, so it acts like a real gusset, because I've opened it up so much. But at least I can get my hands through there to get to stuff, and it's not as bad as it could be. This is what I made for the top, and then I'll make one of these that goes around the other piece right there. Here's the start of it. I'm just putting a ribbon all the way around it just to take the sharp edge, and then it gives it a little more structure. It makes it a little beefier, and it looks nicer. Looks like I might have known what I was doing when I built it, LOL. Slowly piecing it together. So I had a couple different little angles going on here, and I needed a little extra on the end, so I had to do some booger welding. But once I clean it up, you won't be able to see it. I'm surprised that I'm even showing you this, but yeah, we all got a little redneck in us. A little bit better. You can see the transition change right there because of the two different angles, but when it's all welded up, it'll look good. Now I'll weld it to this piece, and maybe we can see if it fits. You can see how I had to shape it around that boss right there a little bit, and I think it's gonna look good when it's all done. Get it welded up. Like more work showed up. Got my shocks. Hopefully everything's good with them. And a bunch of stuff from Holley. Maybe the stuff from my dash. That's awesome. I think she's gonna fit like a glove. Not bad for some redneckery. Got that spotted in, so now let's get this spline shaft together. I've put this together and put it in there and marked it. So I'm gonna go in and TIG weld this, and then this will slide through this, and this will go on, and then I can build the next shaft below that. And just like that, we got a steering column. Pretty simple. It's all TIGged up. I just need to connect the dots. Go from this joint to this joint, and I'll probably just drill this and put a 1/4-inch bolt through it. So it ended up measuring 15 7/8, so I'll just pull them joints off, take it over to the bench, put them in time, and weld them. Did you say I was getting for dinner?
I was gonna put some ramen in a pan, cover it with water.
No, you said something else.
No, I didn't.
Yeah, let's see it.
Shut your phone off.
Where's my dinner?
I'm looking to see. I'm gonna make you a pancake.
I don't like that. There's my dinner. I drilled a hole in here and in the shaft on the orbital valve. And then, I don't know if you can see what I've done here. There's got these little Allen bolts and they're probably Loctited and stuff, so I don't want to loosen them, but I put this under there to keep this flat and this one flat. And the way I was taught was, it's not like a drive shaft. You put these out of time, so the one on the same shaft is turned. So see how this one is horizontal and this one is vertical? And what that does is keeps it from having fast and slow spots, is what I was told. So that's how I've done it forever. You also want to ground through your shaft. Don't let it go through your joint, you know, don't just stick it on the bench and weld it. Clamp it, everything's nice and flat, and then weld it. And I keep a bucket of water. I'll bring it over here closer to me and I'll weld one end and dunk it, and then I'll do the other end to keep from cooking all the grease out of it. And once I get it spotted, I put it up on some box tubing on the shaft. That way I ain't got all this crap on here, and I can roll it and weld it at the same time. Yep, this is how I do it. Not sure if it's the right way, but it's my way. Just like that. All good to go. I got all this hooked up, and then I started looking at my hoses and stuff and thinking, man, I better figure that out before it gets too late. So I moved this fitting. One of the things I like about this pump from Howe, it's got a couple of different ports so you can shift things around to make things a little better if you don't have in the right spot, you know. So that's a -16, so that's a big sucker for the return going in. And then this 8's gonna come right across here, and I'm gonna show you. I got the steering cooler spotted on. I'm waiting for, I got some 120s and some 150s to come over to here. I'm just trying to really lay it out good. I'm probably gonna bust these tabs off, and I'm gonna cope this out and put a piece of tubing in there so that this zip ties in there and just kind of has a nice little smooth spot for it. And then it's gonna come right over there, and there'll be a 120 or a 150, I'm not sure yet, coming out of this lower one down here. And I started to make the high pressure hose one of them, and I'll show you the hose that I use. I got burned real bad years ago, so I don't screw around with none of that reusable shit. But this is a Parker makes this hose, and it's 722 TC-8, and it's 4,000 PSI. I know our steering, you know, the relief valve I think is at 1600 or something like that, but man, they take a slam, and I just don't want to take a chance of getting a car burnt or getting me burnt or anything. So they're it's basically forklift hose, and these are pretty big fittings. I don't have the crimper for it, but I stock all the hose and the fittings, and I'll just mark it and I take it down to Parker's store and they crimp it for me. And I've actually looked into getting a crimper. I don't do enough of it, but I guess it could come in handy, keep me from going to the hose store. So I'm gonna get this put together and put on there, and I'll show you what it looks like. Okay, I got the pressure hoses done to the relief valve, and I'm pretty happy with them. I've actually, I don't know how many different places I've tried and put them, but this is what I ended up with for these. Kind of nice and tucked in. That shock will be right here, so they'll clear that. And now I'm gonna make this big pressure hose that comes off the tank. Here we go. I just gotta tighten it and crimp it. So, pretty clean, everything's nice and tight. This one here, I don't have the fitting for yet, but like I said, I'm gonna put 2 saddles right here for it to sit in. Coming together. It smells good out here. What you making me?
Beef and broccoli lo mein.
Oh man. How did I get so lucky to find a perfect wife like you?
Well, it took you a while.
Do your gardening in your panties and cook me good meals? Yeah. How can a guy go wrong with you, huh? My dream wife.
Yeah.
Making my life a dream. Okay, I got these all crimped. I'm waiting for some fittings to finish this stuff. I need some 120s and maybe even a 150 or 2, but I got this window here, and luckily there's room, because this link it's not in there right now, but that link comes clear up here, and I need a place for that to go. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna break this back off of here. Luckily I just have it spotted, and I'm gonna hole saw that twice, because I need both, like the oil cooler hoses are gonna go through here, and I want them to have a nice room, and I want them to be all the way against this outside right here. So I'm gonna hole saw that and probably weld a couple of small tube pieces in there. That way I can zip tie them to it, just to keep them from moving around and chafing on that sharp edge. Everything needs to be perfect and tied down, and the cleaner it is, the better it is to work on. You know, you get it where you can get your hands in to do things, so you try and keep hoses out of the way of stuff. So if you ever mount an orbital valve, make sure you know where your hoses are going before you mount it, and sometimes you're just stuck mounting it wherever you have to, but I like to plan everything. I've removed that. I'm gonna cut these tacks. I'm gonna pull these motor mounts and put the hose bracket here, and then I'm gonna open this up and make that my hose bracket also. Wish I had thought about this while I was building it, but you don't know till you start plumbing, so it's always good to not really weld anything if you don't have to. Just get it stuck up there. That way it's easier to put on the bench and work on. So I use that, and I'm gonna cut this in half, and that's gonna be my hose mount. Then I closed it up a little bit with my hammer to make it fit the hose nice and tight. And I marked it. Now I've got both of these pieces right here, and I can weld them together, and I might cut them down, but you see how tight that fits? And then that's gonna go in on this bracket. I wanted these before I cut this out because I want to be able to fit them in there and make it look perfect, if you know what I mean. Now I'll clean them boogers off of there and sand it up. Okay, after I cleaned it up, this is what it looks like. Nice and clean, and it fits the hose really snug, so it'll almost hold itself. And this is what, oh, looky there. No wonder I like it. Yeah, it's titties. So I'm gonna cut this out and open that up a little bit. Then them hoses will fit through there nice and freely, and then I'll leave just part of this sticking out enough to get like a zip tie or a clamp of some sort on there. Usually I use Velcro, so we'll see what it looks like and fits like. I'm gonna start by just using this tube stack to center punch, and I'll hole saw these two, that way they're perfect. And then I can use my little saw on the rest of them. Do a pilot. And step it up to quarter. It's no fun not using the punch. Then we'll hole saw. This is what I got. This is gonna get welded in right there, and then I'll be able to take a piece of Velcro or a zip tie on the inside, and that's just gonna keep it from chafing, gives me more room, and it looks cool. Here it is. You'll have to let me know what you think. It's got two slots. They're nice and smooth bores. So one here and one there, and then it's set up so Velcro or a zip tie can be put on in there. And I was gonna make them stick out here, but they're sharp when they're sticking out here. In here, it's nice and smooth. So I figured, you know what? I'll just deal with it, and that's how I wanted it. And then this goes kind of right over there, and then runs along the bottom of the block. Now I'm gonna do this mount here where I put that tube in there for that other hose, and it's gonna lay right in there like that when I'm done. And then I'll be able to, same thing, just put a piece of Velcro right there to hold it. Nice little hold down, keep it from getting close to the header. Next one, a little bit taller, so it's a little bit more complicated, but same thing. It's gonna weld between them two head mount ears. Got my notch cut in both sides. Now I just have to mark this and trim it to where it's flush with that other side. This is the last of the oil cooler hoses, so get these all done up. Get them all in there, show you what it looks like. Uno más. Be nice to get all the plumbing done. What we can. Get them all installed. Love this stuff. Okay, check out the oil cooler. I got it plumbed in. Got it going through my deals here. I don't have it really snugged in there tight, but you can see how that fits. And then I got it Adele clamped. I made a clamp. Hooks in there. And then they run down to right there. Pretty sweet, huh? And then my steering, I'm waiting for a couple of fittings. Hopefully I get them and I can finish plumbing it. But for the most part, I got everything done but this cooler and the hoses that go to the axle. The hoses that go to the axle, I'm gonna have to wait until I can fully droop it, and then I'll cycle it before I crimp them and check them and everything and make sure that they're moving the right way and all that good stuff. Now I think it's time to get back in here. I think my dash showed up today, so maybe I'll cut the hole for the dash. Time to cut my hole here. I know I got a lot of lines. Hopefully I get the right one. That got ugly. Luckily it didn't jump out of there and tear my shit up. Must have had a little preload on it from all that welding. Well, it's a good thing I hold on tight. Thing could have bucked out of there and split my face open. But I got it out safely, right? She's all fit up in there now. I'm gonna take it out and make a mount. And what I'm gonna do, I'll show you here. I'm gonna break a piece that goes all the way around it and then drill these holes in and then weld it in there so it'll be kind of made in there. So this is what I was talking about. I'll break all four sides and then punch these holes in it, and that will just cap on. I took and kind of transferred lines and stuff to get my stuff. They have a layout pattern, but I ain't using it. I just did it right off of this. Now I'll punch it out. I used my tube stack and got these radiuses, and I made it just a little bit bigger so that it'll be perfect. Wow, almost looked like I knew what I was doing. Now I just gotta clean that up and finish breaking it. Too nice, look at that. The old box break. Almost like I knew what I was doing. I keep getting lucky. Now let's see how it fits. Need to take a little break out of that one. Oh yeah. Perfecto. All right, here's what she looks like. I'm gonna go ahead and pull it back off and weld these corners up, and I'm gonna sand it just a little bit so it drops down. It's just a little bit tall, but it looks pretty good. Just gotta clean it up out here, and it's all level and whatnot. Just like that, it's damn near midnight. I done burned another day, but I got the dash in there. We're just waiting on some other stuff, so hopefully it gets here soon and I can continue on. Tomorrow I'll probably rework these cutting brakes, get up in the morning and start making them where they'll fit in the floor, and I'm hoping I'll have a shifter and stuff here pretty soon. And I'll probably do some kind of a panel right here, just because I'm gonna have so much stuff that for the dash and everything, and maybe I'll look at doing that GPS glove box thing tomorrow. Well, good night, folks. I don't usually like doing my exercise alone, but Jess had to take Bear to the vet this morning. Hopefully he gets a clean bill of health. I'm running out of days to get the old Scrambler done, but I'm working hard at it. Good morning, everyone. Kind of got a late start this morning. Jess had to take the dog to the vet, and I'm just went for a run, and I'm thinking about stuff, trying to figure out what I'm gonna do. But I said I was gonna get on the brake levers this morning, and I am. But I seen this seat sitting here, and I'm gonna go ahead and strip it out and get everything off of it so I can narrow it. It's like 46 inches wide right now, and I need to make it 40 outside. So I'm gonna get it stripped out so I can get it delivered to the upholstery guy. One more thing just off my list. And believe me, my list just keeps growing every day. I keep trying to make a list, and it's just never ending, but hopefully we get it done. So hang on. These seats have little zippers right here, so I'll zip this out. And I've never actually taken one of these apart, but my guy says he can narrow it up and do what I need done. Kind of crazy, all zipped out. So now I should be able to pull the skin off of it. Next, I'm gonna untie all this so that it does come off. Looks like they just got it tied up like a bunch of knots and stuff in here. My fingers don't work like they used to. I need some new fingers for Christmas. Yeah. Upholstery isn't my forte. My forte is drinking and driving, I guess. That's what I'm good at. Alright, one down. 2 to go. I got all them untied. Now there's these hog rings holding this together. I'm gonna go ahead and cut them. I hope I'm not screwing up, but I'm sure the upholstery guy will figure it out.
We're getting some coffee at this new place in Overgard, Perkin in the Pines this morning. And she makes homemade oat milk. Can't wait to taste it. I bet Shannon's missing out. All right, coffee's good, and we are at the vet. Kennedy's unloading poor little Bear. He's here to get neutered, and he has to get some injections in his knees in the back. Do you have his leash attached yet, hun? Nope, doesn't look like it. Hi, Bear.
Thought there was so much crap holding this together, and there's nothing really here. LOL.
Bye, Bear. We'll see you after a while. Thank you. Yeah.
At this point, I'm ready to just throw this damn seat in the trash. I've never seen so much crap in my life. I sure hope he can figure it out. He's an upholstery guy though, so just a lot of shit. If it was up to me, we'd just put a bigger beer cooler back there. No one rides. Better get some video of it just in case he needs to see what it looks like, how it was put together. I'm sure he'll figure it out though. My part's easy. All I gotta do is cut 6 inches out of the middle and we'll be good.
Okay, another stop this morning. We're gonna look for some plants. I really need to fill in my flower gardens. Kennedy works at Ace, so we get a sweet discount. So we're gonna see if I can find anything. So Shannon's got some holes to dig.
I'm thinking I should have just made damn shop furniture out of this damn thing. That's a lot of work just to get the skin off this thing. Hopefully it turns out nice. I've marked it. I'm gonna go ahead and take 6 out just to be safe. And there's my marks. And then I'll figure out how to sleeve it back together. See what I tell you? My part's easy. I just go like, bam. Now why couldn't they just make it that narrow for me? That sucks. Oh well. Well, I found some 5/8 tubing, fits that like a glove. This one's gonna be a little different because it's thin wall, 1 inch. I might just put some 3/4 in it and just weld the gap. I think I got a plan. I took that piece that I cut out, I split it in half. Now I'm gonna split it this way, and then I'll drive a 3/4 piece inside of it, and maybe that'll make it the right size. Just like that. Here's what I did. I opened it up, took my big tapered punch and drove into it. And now it's a press fit, and then I'll weld it. It'll be plenty strong enough for who it's for. Okay, let's see how it fits. Got a nice tight fit. Then I'll spot it. And then once I get it spotted to this, all of them together, then I'll slide this whole thing back together. Easy once you figure it out. All right, let's see if we can put them together now. And then I'll put a little glue on. Actually, I need to weld one in first, I forgot. That's just going to keep it from sliding when I go to put them together. There we go. Just need a couple of hammers. Can't beat that. Nice tight fit. Now I just weld it up. Not bad for some redneck engineering, huh? After welding part of it, I figured, oh, maybe I better stick it in there and just check it. It fits like a glove. It's gonna be perfect. Even the way the bottom of the seat is and everything, I'll be able to mount it with no problem. Lunch without Jess isn't the same. She just don't, well, she makes better lunch, let's put it that way. And there's a lot more entertainment than just the squirrels and the birds. Okay, seat's done, got me some lunch in me. This was my old bracket. Basically what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take angle iron and I'm gonna make a perimeter so that it will bolt up underneath of the floorboard. And then where the floorboard is, it'll flange part of it into the floor, and then there'll be the flat part of the angle iron. I'll leave some of it where I can make a lid that goes over this so I can get to these fittings and stuff. So I'm not real sure exactly how I'm gonna do it, but I'm gonna do it and you'll be the first to see it. Okay, I might have said I was gonna use angle iron, but there's not enough depth to it, so I'm just gonna break some material, which will be better anyway because I'm gonna do a bunch of curvy shit like this. So let me get this cut out and then I'll do a layout and you'll kind of see what I got going on and start understanding it better. So I got both side pieces laid out. Now I'm gonna put some little convolutes in here. I'll draw them and then cut that out. Anything to make it look cool and take away some material and get it where you can get your hands on stuff a little better. Okay, now let's break these 90 degrees and then we'll weld our little spacers on for the handles. It looks pretty perfect. Pretty. Yes. Whenever you're laying out your parts, always make sure you lay them out the right way, because I have broke stuff backwards before and it ain't no good after you spend all afternoon making a bracket and then you break it wrong. I've got all my pieces cut out, 3 of them, 2 sides in the middle, then I got to break the ends. But before I figure out the ends, I cut a bunch of these spacers, and what they're going to do is they're going to space the handle just right, because this right here is wider. So this is 5/8 120 wall. I keep a bunch of this on hand bunch of different sleeving materials like this. You never know when you're gonna need it, or, you know, just kind of like I used this on that seat for sliding inside. You know, just, it's always good to have a bunch of miscellaneous size tubes around. So I'm gonna get these TIG welded on here, and then I can figure out the width and finish this bracket up. Now that I got all these welded on here, I'm gonna put this together and see. I'm using these little shims just so it has nice clearance, and I need to get my width is what I'm after when I'm doing this. So I'll put a shim on that side, shim on this side. I know it seems like a lot of BS, but it makes for a nice part when you get it all powder coated and everything and go to put it together. I think I forgot to open these holes up. Oh, dang it. Well, just like always, as soon as I get it together, I see what I should have done. I made this deeper so that this would clear the floor, because basically I'm gonna pull this. This is gonna bolt to my transmission tunnel probably, and half of it's gonna be bolted under it, and then I'll make a cap that goes over the other half. So it'll be 3/4 inch of just a lid that goes on there to kind of, so you don't see through the tunnel. But what I didn't think about was getting a wrench on this fitting and whatnot. So I'm not sure what I'm gonna do. I might make this come up higher, or I might cut a window in. I'm not sure, but hang on. I made some pretty good changes. I opened it up so you can actually get your fingers in there to get to that fitting, which works out very nice. Now I'm getting ready to put this top cap piece on, and I'll show you what it looks like after I get it spotted. But yeah, very, very handy to be able to get your hands in here and work on stuff. This is why we don't like engineers designing things, because they never work on shit. So they design dog shit. When you build your own junk, you can design it and make it do exactly what you want, and then you don't feel bad when you work on it.
Just picked Bear up from the vet. Here he is in this stylish cone. Good boy. They said he did excellent. So he got an injection in both back legs, and he was neutered at 8 years old. Yeah. So here's to a speedy recovery for our good boy. Shannon has been so busy working on my Scrambler that I've had to do a couple things without him, which is very out of the norm, like taking the dog to the vet, things of that nature. And I hate it, but here is something I absolutely love. Look who I get to spend the afternoon with. Our little grandbaby Emerald. And we're watching Alvin and the Chipmunks.
Well, damn it. I think I changed my mind again. They were gonna go right here, pointing up, but I just feel like they're just taking up too much space. And it's very comfortable having them right here, and could be very clean because I could go right through the floor with the fittings, all of them, and then I wouldn't have this bulkiness here. So I just make one bracket that pivots off of this tube, and then get these where they sit like that, level. I think that's what I'm gonna do. I hate to waste your guys' time with my faulty ideas, but I just don't want them right here. I feel like I could have well, for one, I was gonna put my automatic shifter up here, which I don't have yet, and then that means you're gonna see it unless I panel this all in when I put this deal here, and I don't like that. So I'm gonna go ahead and put it back in the floor right here where it's comfortable, and then all my controls will be going down, and then I can work on putting a nice little pocket for your phone and bull crap right here. So take two. Damn it. Okay, so I took my square. It doesn't fit right here right now, but this line and this line right here That's this tube. And then it's 3 7/8 from this flat right here to the front of that. So I can, this is where I want it, this is the angle I want it, and I took the fittings off. And the reason I did is because I want that to set right down. I'm gonna punch 2 holes in the floor once I get it figured out where I want it. And them fittings will be out the bottom already. And then I'll only need 1 hole or 2 more holes right here for these 2 little hoses, but they will poke through to a Y fitting that goes up to the master cylinder. Then all the lines will be underneath, and I'll just put them on in here. And then all this bracketry is not going to be here because it's just going to be some stuff that either welds to this tube or I make it bolt to that tube. Welding it's going to be easy, but bolting it will allow me to take the whole assembly out, and then I put everything on hoses where I can pull it up and work on it. So it's going to make it easy to work on, it's going to make it clean and simple. And then what I'll do is when I'm all done, I'll come in here and I'll make a little aluminum, well, what do you call it, a tray or whatever, to it'll come from this point to this point, so it'll be a flat spot, and I can either put a cup holders here, or I can come up tall on this side and make a console for this side, and then these will be down in there, and then just make that all bolt in. Then I'll be filling this void, and it'll make it useful. Here's my new layout. This will be the tube that it's hooking to. And then you can see I made it real trim. I could do a straight shot, but I'm thinking, you know, if you're reaching underneath that seat to grab something, it's better to have a smooth edge and not, you know, the less material, the better. Just so very thin, and when it's all tied together, it'll be very strong. And I think what I'm gonna do is do like I did this old one where, you know, it bolts to the tube instead of welding. You know, it'll have a bolt here and a bolt here. So I'll have to make a little radius mount to weld to the tube. And then this, once this is all done, it just bolts right up. Okay, back to my other plan. Gotta clean the nuts off for my mounting bolts or brackets. And let me show you what I got going on here now. So these are the new brackets. And then I'm going to weld these nuts on here. And there will be a tube joining them all together. The outside ones and stuff. And then this will weld to the seat tube, the chassis. And a bolt will bolt through to bolt the bracket in. So I'm going to TIG weld these nuts on here, and you'll see. So now I'm going to split this on these 2 lines so I have a piece to join my pieces together. This is a piece of 2-inch 120 wall, and it will set right over that 1 3/4 tube. Okay, let me show you what we got. So this is the 2-inch 120, and this is going to weld right there, and then that's the other side, and then this is the middle one, so it's made to actually go over it perfectly. And then all these nuts get welded on, and these spacers will get welded on, and hopefully this time it works for me. Finally got it together. I still got to weld it, but this is what I was talking about. It looks like it's gonna work. I like it a lot better, so time to weld. Finally, all welded up. These are the pieces that are gonna weld into the chassis. I've got little shims in here, so when I powder coat it, it still fits. This is all perfect. And then earlier I drew a line on here when I had it in the car, the master cylinders, and what that did was gave me the exact holes where these were gonna be coming through the floorboard, so I'm gonna drill them 1 inch. Actually, I'm gonna start out 3/4 and see how it looks. And then we'll get this welded in. Maybe get onto something better. Okay, I just gotta adjust one handle a little bit, but they're poked in the hole. So now I'm gonna weld it. You can see where they come through right there. It's gonna work out just awesome because them two shoot off, and I'll just put hoses on them with 90s and they'll go right down that upper link right there. Here's where I ended up putting it. Now I got these all spotted in. I just gotta pull it out and weld the ears up and put some anti-seize on it because it's a little tight right now. But for the most part, it looks pretty dang good. It's gonna be very easy to work on. That's my shims, it all fell out, but yeah, see how easy it goes in there? And then right next to it, I'll make a aluminum plate that goes between here, and I'll French in like a little console of some sort where Jess can throw her junk, some detailed stuff, I don't know. I'll make it up as I go though. Let me know what you think. I just love it when parts show up on time. Adam Woodley sent me a shifter. I'm not sure if you guys have seen this Sidewinder shifter. He makes knobs for it, and it's just freaking badass. It mounts in a dash or in a floor. You know, you can do all kinds of stuff. You can rotate this so that it works flat or on an angle. For instance, on this one here, I need it to go on an angle because I need it back here far enough where Jess can reach it. And if that was flat, it would be poking through there. So this is gonna work out perfect. It's gonna set in there flush right close to them transfer case shifter knobs. And not only, he makes a nice little knob for it. I don't know if you guys have heard of Why Don't Design. I mean, I'm pretty sure everybody has, but he also made some nice twin stick knobs for me. So everything matches, but I just love it. And I really love it when my parts show up a day early even. Thank you, Adam. Next project, I'm gonna get this thing in here. I shoved this boot in here just to kind of get where I'm at, but I'm gonna put it dead center on this console. And I'm hoping, I've measured it and it's gonna come out pretty close to that yoke. I'm hoping that it is far enough where I can get the cable bent freely to do the loop and whatnot. But if not, I already know that I can perch it up. I'll make some aluminum and make a nice little pedestal for it where it sticks up just a little higher, and it might even be better for Jess to reach. But I'm gonna go ahead and pop a hole in here and see what it looks like. Well, kind of like I thought. It was hitting the transfer case so it wouldn't come down all the way, which is fine because after putting the seat back in and sitting in it, I got 2 inch right here right now. I'm gonna go ahead and go 3, and I'm gonna make a nice little tapered piece, and once I get it made, then I'll scribe it, cut it out, and spot it in. And I think it's gonna look better, it's gonna feel better. All these sticks are gonna be the same height when I'm done. I'm gonna cut these down and straighten them up so they're all perfect together. That's why it's always important, you know, the first thing you do when you're doing your steering and stuff like, or your interior, is you figure out first where your brake pedal is going to be, because that's going to determine what's comfortable for your leg and your seat. And then you figure out the seat, and then once you get the seat, you center everything off the seat and place it. So always remember that. Brake pedal first, then the seat, and then all your other little knickknacks. Okay, well you can't really see it, but I put this curvature on this because that's got a nice little radius to it. So I did the same on here, and then I rolled this piece just slightly. It kind of sucks because it's going to take up more room in there, and I need all the room I can get for cup holders and little bullshit. But I think it'll give it a little style, and it's also harder to do. I don't know why I always got to pick the hard way. I'm not too smart. Okay, let's roll this other one. I don't use this roll very often, so I just keep it over here crammed in the corner, but we'll just take and that easy. Not much of a curve, but that's how she is. So, got two of them. Then I'll even that up and make the other two, try and match it. Okay, I rolled these and sanded them. Now I'm gonna weld it all together. You can kind of see the radiuses. I mean, it's very slight, but it's there, and it'll match the top of that. So it should look pretty badass when it's all together. It's getting late, so I gotta get busy. This is what she looks like. Now I just got to drill and tap the top here, and then I'll take it over there and scribe it in the floor, and we'll weld that baby in. I got the tunnel out of there, cut the hole, so now I just gotta weld that on, and then I'll put it back in and she'll fit. Well, somehow the night got away from me again, but I got the shifter in there. I got the sticks cut down and I threaded them. Got my cutting brakes in. Everything is just right here where I can reach it. I'm loving it. Very clean and simple. I'm gonna have a little space here for some kind of a console on underneath it too. And then I'll probably step back this way and come down. That way I have room for two cups, two big cups, because that's a must. If you plan on wheeling, you gotta have cup holders. But I really love this shifter from Adam Woodley, and all his knobs and stuff, they all match. They make really nice stuff. He's actually trying to work on some emblem for this Scrambler, a billet emblem. Hopefully he can pull it off, but they do nice work. Look them up, Wide Open Design. I think I'm gonna have to go to bed here in a minute. It's already 12:30. You can kind of see that thing just drops right through the floor perfectly. The fittings are down there. I can get some brake lines going. Tomorrow I'll probably try and get batteries underneath that seat and start figuring some stuff out. I was gonna put a Premier power welder on here, and I need to get a hold of them and get it coming because I'm running out of time. This thing needs to be over in California at wiring by the end of the month. Wish me luck. And let me know what you think of my shifters and stuff. I had to raise it up, but look at that. It's perfect. It's away from everything. That cable's gonna come through and do one little bend and hit the transmission. Very clean. What a long day. 1 o'clock almost. Ugh. Close up shop. That's the worst thing. Going to bed late and getting up early. I had kind of a late one last night, so I kind of got a late start. Jess and I got up and worked out. This morning, I've got a bunch of stuff that I can do. I'm probably gonna maybe start routing some brake lines while I can and get them on the axles and stuff. Why there's a open space back here to get to this stuff, and then after I do that, then I'll probably start building the fuel tank. We also got all of our speakers and amps and stuff from Diamond Audio. I haven't unboxed them yet because I'm just trying to get some of the more important stuff knocked out so I can get this thing off to wiring, but definitely gonna have to build my boxes and get my speakers and stuff in the door, and I'm waiting for the stereo for the dash. So as soon as that gets here, then we'll get on the speakers and stuff. But today, I think brake lines, and hopefully I get into a fuel tank. The boss found out her sound system was here. She's like, let's see.
So here we go. We've got some, what is this? 2-way, 6.5-inch Elite high power speakers. That means it's gonna make some noise.
And I was digging through my brake line stuff that I was gonna do today and realized that I used the last of my straight bulkhead fittings on the junkyard Jeep, and I didn't order anymore, so now I got a
couple 10-inch subwoofers.
Oh yeah. Woof
Hope you
woof.
have room for all that in here. We're gonna have to take something out. Not sure what.
Not
The back seat.
Yeah, well, that could go away anyway.
Oh, Emerald wants it in the Granby.
Yeah. Yeah, so I guess today I'm gonna start situating some of this stuff and see where it goes, since I don't have brake line fittings yet.
What we got here? Like some fixtures maybe or something? Yeah, frame, high gloss white UV coated, black stainless frame. So
Speaker covers.
yeah. Yep.
Yeah, we're still waiting on the stereo, so yeah, I'll probably start on my fuel tank today.
Wow, yeah.
Like Christmas. Look at her, she's just throwing stuff everywhere.
I don't know what that is. Oh, the amp.
Amplifier.
Mm-hmm.
Nice.
Wires.
Well, I guess if anything, we'll be able to jam out.
2-way, 6.5 Elite high power speaker. More speakers. Oh boy, look at all this. More covers, and I'm guessing that's another, amp in there.
Nice.
Awesome. Thank you so much. What, Nathan? Was that his
Yeah,
name?
Nathan.
Nathan,
Yeah.
thank you so much. I cannot wait for this to all be wired and give her a test.
And I'll be giving you a call just to go over that box layout and stuff. So we got to put a couple of speakers in the door, and I also want to cut this open and fill it full of like a door bag that's flush mounted into it. So
All right, I'll be back to do the laundry and sunbathe. I love you.
all right, you have fun at work, Ben. Oh, I always have fun at work, especially when I get into the liquor cabinet. Okay, I got a hold of Ray at XRP. He's getting me some fittings for the brake lines, and I was just looking, in order to do my speaker box, I need my fuel tank, so definitely got to get that sheet of aluminum out and start doing that, and then I'm going to need the drop off of that to build my speaker box. But I also got some stuff. I hope it's gonna work out. Basically, TJ fuel cap stuff. Here's what I got. So I got this neck. This is for TJ supposedly. Same thing I put on the Land Cruiser. And then I found this, and I didn't need that if this works, but I was looking at size, and I might have screwed myself on space because it's gonna cover up the whole corner, and I might have to do some funky work like I did on the cowl so it looks correct. I don't know, but I guess we'll have to see. For starters, I assembled this. I mean, if it fits, it's going to just fit, and I might have to get in here and modify it. I need to get a mark where the top of the tank's gonna be and kind of go from there and see if, I'm pretty sure it's gonna work though. Well, I got the circle drawn on there, and it sucks because I'm gonna have to do a little bit of welding right here. What I think I'll probably do is maybe just slice this and pop it out. I don't know. It's got a bend in it already, so it's kind of hard to decide what the heck. Before I cut my circle in here for that to fit, I'm gonna go ahead and slice in right here. That way I have all this strength, because if there's a hole in here and I slice this, I'm not gonna be able to straighten that real easy, I don't think. I think it's gonna be easier to get that straightened out without the hole in there. And then once I get that out, then I'll go ahead and cut my inner hole. And then we'll go about welding and doing all that stuff, I think. All right, next I'm gonna center punch this. And I made me a redneck circle maker here. Got my marker taped to it. Let me double check. Yeah. You gotta make do with junk when you don't have junk, if you know what I mean. And hopefully that works out good. Yeah, just a piece of junk with my marker taped to it. Hopefully this works. I'm just gonna try to cut in with this so I can get a sawzall in there. I always forget I got battery powered tools for that. I don't know why I keep screwing with that stupid compressor. I just need to get enough to get in there with my little saw. Look who showed up. Paul from AutoZone brought me the right cap. Voila. I couldn't get in there to straighten it out. I am gonna have some light holes here, but I went ahead and cut it, and then this is actually working out pretty good, I think. I'll get this where it sits straight and whatnot. And then I'll weld that, kind of like I did that cowl on the hood, and sand it in where it looks like it's got body work done, but it's just metal work. So the way this was designed to go on the outside of the body. You can see where I sliced that and what it's gonna look like when I get done. And this goes like that, but that looks like cornhole to me. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna rework it, and I'm gonna put this on the inside. That way it's a lot cleaner. I might have to do a little shaving on that top just to, actually it needs a little bit of shaving on it, but what it's gonna do then is it's just gonna be this on there. So it'll look a lot more like it was supposed to be there, not an afterthought. And I think when everything's black, it's gonna look pretty good. And I have a little door, you know. What the hell, Amazon, 30 bucks. Couldn't make it. Okay, it's a pretty good gap to fill, but I think if I just spot it in, just keep spotting, and you don't wanna burn into your flat shapes, you know what I mean? You wanna keep it where when you go back in, where you can feather it out and make it look like it was supposed to be, almost like doing body work, but without Bondo. Lots of work. I know it looks pretty ugly. And the hard part is sanding it, keeping it flat and keeping its shape. So you got to have a good kind of a half-ass wore out flat disc. I'll face it off with I'll use this 3M flat one first, and I'll just kind of sand that flat, and then I'll start rolling in with the flat disc and just start filling it, and hopefully I can get it right the first time, not have to do it twice. Yeah, you want one that has good meat on it, so it's not wore out completely. But see how this has a sharp edge right here? So what I'll probably do is take it over here to my big 20-inch sander, and I'll probably run it and just put a little bit of a curve on it. That way all this is still here, but I get a nice radius to go in there and work with, and then clean it up with the DA if I'm good. Yeah, there you go. See how it's got a little bit of a curvature to it now? It's kind of radiused off. So that I'm going to do a little bit more. And that's how you get in the corner and do the nice grinding. I'm going to start by just spacing this a little bit. So you don't want to take none off the edges because you still want it flat. So I've got a nice flat there, and then I almost want to draw my circle back on here. That way I stay off of it. That way you have something to guide you. I'm just gonna have to play with it as I go, so bear with me. Might try a different disc. So I switched up to another new one without that radius. I felt like that radius wasn't cutting quick enough, and it's putting little ditches in it. The object is to keep it moving getting pretty good. I think I might hit it with the DA now. Just kind of. I've got most of the divots out of it. I think a DA might work. Actually, I'm going to kind of do a little finger action on here. Just kind of like a longboard with my finger. I feel like it's working pretty good, so hopefully. I do have a little divot in my weld there, damn it. And you can feel it as you go, you know, it's when I was younger, I used to paint and do body work and stuff, and I got tired of it real quick. But this is kind of like doing body work. So if you're a body man and you know how to weld, you can do good things. Now DA. This is my favorite. 3M Stick It Gold discs. But I don't have a good compressor, so it kind of sucks ass. Beautiful. Oh, look who rolled in. Come here and check out your gas car. All right, dear, come here and check out your...
Is this where I'm going to find my lunch, behind this gas cap? No, this is cool.
Pretty sweet, huh? Stick your hand in there. Dang it. Yeah.
Terrible. Yeah. Looks like you got some new headlights here.
Oh,
One
yeah.
looks a little bit shinier than the other.
I forgot to tell you about that. Yeah, this is the old one. Stock junk.
Literally.
Check this out.
We got this one out of the junkyard, huh?
Yeah. That,
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Like one of the first things we bought.
We bought that with the title, but look at, they're made by Holley. Yeah, that's the
I
box.
see this. Holley Retro Bright Performance Lighting, classic style. They look pretty cool.
Yeah, I didn't even know they made headlights.
Retro styled headlight for period correct appearance. So low draw, are these super bright then?
Yeah, and they got replaceable LED cartridges, I think.
I was gonna say I'll put them on my ride, but I forgot my new ride's pretty good. Kennedy might want them on my on the old Explorer.
I don't know. Well, they make
Those are like candle lights.
LEDs for that, but
We've tried.
yeah.
Those look good though, I like it.
Yep.
Yeah.
Holley makes
All right, take
so
me to
many
lunch.
things. All right. Let's go upstairs. Oh yeah, that's dessert. Oh,
Swear,
boss,
I
huh?
swear, yes.
Now you think you're the boss? I don't know about that. All right, let me wash my hands, damn it. Go eat one more thing.
I know, I'm gonna go to the post office and send this stuff off.
Well, I'm not talking about that. I need you to hold this up. Well, actually, you sit back there and you look at that and tell me what you think. Go
Is it
get
just
back.
for decoration or what?
No, it's freaking a gusset, but it's. Is it for decoration?
I mean,
Yeah, I'm just hanging it on here. 'Cause
whatever. Well, yeah, it looks great. Looks like like
Well,
this?
do you like it there?
What are my options?
Or do you like it there?
What's the purpose of this gusset?
It's a gusset, so if you wreck, it
It's
keeps...
just extra support.
Yeah, and
I like it.
it's a gusset with style, but is it too much for the unit or what?
Put it back in the front again. I like it better in the front.
Okay, now I want you to hold it so I can look at it.
Boy. You're just gonna do what you want anyway. I don't know why you're even asking.
Well, no, I'm not. I want to see it. I couldn't hold it up there. I guess I could have. I'm gonna knock you out. Quit being dumb.
I swear to God.
Turn. Yeah. Oh my God. Are you serious?
I'm having a real mental meltdown.
Oh yeah. There you go. Like it's.
Okay. So you got that?
Okay. Move it to the other side now.
Or that?
Damn.
It's kind of tough. I kind of like it back here, but I don't know.
Put it back on the front.
I might have to look at it again. You have to decide now. Can we let our audience weigh in?
Yeah, I don't have to put them on. I made them. They're a pain in the ass to make. Does it need two? One, oh wait, here. I made one for the other side. Hold both of them up there. Let me see. Maybe I just didn't want to. That is too much. That looks like some kind of.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a little overkill
These
there.
remind me of those horns you drink out of, mead.
I saved a couple of them so you can drink out of them.
We'll have to fill the bottom in.
Yeah, well, that's easy. I got all kinds of tubes you can drink out of. All right, let's go. I'm hungry. Take me to lunch. We're killing two birds with one stone. She's taking me to lunch.
It's like 4 birds, I think, though.
Oh, yeah.
I'm going to the post office. I'm getting
right here.
the rest of the groceries for fajitas. You're going to Ace, and we're going to lunch.
Yeah,
So
I need to
yeah,
get some
4
longer
birds.
little metric bolts for that stupid gas door because it came with metric threads. Imagine that. Who uses metric? But yeah, so Ace Hardware and the dinner, and then she's gonna make me some dinner later. She ordered us a massive BLT with
It's
turkey.
called Boss BLT.
Oh, for
Not
the boss.
turkey.
Because she's a boss, but it looks delicious. We're at the brewery drinking iced tea. Okay, we made it back from lunch. I had to sand the top of this because of the inner fender well, but luckily it doesn't matter. I drilled and tapped this. I picked up some longer bolts at Ace. So this one needs to be tapped and the other ones just drill through, and that's what holds this up there. So we'll get that knocked out, go from there. This little project is done. We got that in there. It's gonna work out pretty good, I think. Then I'll have to take it through there and put a hose on it, or a couple of hoses and whatnot, but it clears the cage. I got lucky with it, and wait till you guys see my tail lights. I ordered some stuff. I have, here's the, it's like a flush, nice little deal, but, and then there's the, I don't know why they don't make them match. You know, I hate when they do that. They're different, same company, but the circles and stuff don't match. But I had some billet bezels. Eddie, my buddy Eddie that does all my machine work, made me some, so they're gonna be pretty badass. They're getting anodized right now, and yeah, this turned out pretty sweet. I'm happy. Okay, putting my plans to use here now. I drew a picture. You can't see it because this bench is so dirty looking, but I drew it on here just so I can get the length of this bottom angle, which was only an 1/8 inch more, believe it or not. So I'm gonna start laying it out on that sheet of aluminum, and then I'll get the nibbler out and I'll nibble it out and start breaking it. Too bad. Got the old redneck shear out. It's affordable if you don't have a real shear, but it kind of leaves a little bit of a rough cut, so I'm gonna get the old wax and the sander after it real quick, and then I'll probably need Jess to help me break this. She's out there sun tanning. Yeah. Redneck shear it is. And always leave your line and sand right to it. Okay, I got my little angle finder here. This is gonna be the first break that I have. Being this wide, I'm probably gonna get Jess to help me. So, go get her real quick. Yo, dear.
Huh?
I need you to come help me.
What do you need?
I need you to help me break.
I'm kind of busy.
Reading a book.
Yeah. All right, I'll be right there.
All right. I promise you only get your hands dirty. What?
Did you break off one of my aloe leaves or whatever this is called? Arms?
Why would I break off your aloe?
Oh, actually, there's little teeth marks in it.
I was gonna say, it's probably that possum.
Yeah, well, it was like busted off and it was thrown underneath one of the other things. Okay, what do you need me to do?
I need you to help me bump this, because it's just gonna
I
take
don't
a
know
lot
what
of
that
pressure.
means, but
Just grab that side and we're gonna go not quite 90. This is how far we gotta do. Actually, it's actually over 90, I'm
so
sorry.
I'm just pushing.
Just push as hard as you can. Push. Yeah. It's a good thing we don't have one of the safety signs for what you gotta wear. Just, you know what, I better check it.
Yeah, get your tape.
I don't want to be already over. Good thing we didn't bump it again. Just barely over.
Wow.
But I was over.
My big muscles. It's still.
Now I might pull it too far out.
This is very technical work.
That's why I get paid the big bucks. To work on my shit for free. Really? Okay, hold that right. You smell good.
I do?
Yeah.
Like sweat and suntan.
Yeah, it's probably the pool smell. Although we don't have a pool.
No.
Okay.
Good?
Now, yeah, that's good. Now, come on. We gotta do something more.
Wait,
pull,
what?
pull that handle down. The other way. Yeah. Get over here and line your black line up on it and then pull it down. Like lift it up and get that. Lift that lever up. Yeah. Up. Yeah, because I gotta get it even. Okay. Now, put light pressure on it.
Okay.
Okay, clamp it. Yeah, clamp it.
Clamp?
Pull it hard. Come on, put some ass in it. Okay.
Now what are we doing? This is very, my butt is in the video.
Well, you're facing the wrong way.
No.
All right, so this, we want this one horizontal now. Okay.
Whatever that means. What am I doing?
Same thing.
This is kind of overzealous for me. I'm not supposed to be doing this stuff.
Just a little bit. Woo, that's a lot.
Sorry, my muscles are big.
Yeah.
What is this?
This is the fuel tank. Just think, you build your own fuel tank. You ever done that?
Mm-mm. Never.
Okay. I got that brake. I gotta take a little bit out. Now we can go a little much.
That's not all the way in over here.
I know.
Oh,
I'm just
okay.
using it to hold it down. Oh, we're getting closer. Lift that up just for a second. I can work with that. Now we just have to go. Okay, go ahead and same thing. Get that on the. Pull it down lightly. See where it comes down. Pull it down.
Yeah, this.
Yep.
I knew that. I was getting the black line in there. I learned that last time.
I hate when the bosses tell me how to do it. Okay, so let's do it
By
again.
the way, only the boss can wear this to work. Do I have to come over there now?
No, well, I'm just gonna pull you. Same thing, push it. Okay, hang on. I've got to get my tri-bar. Yeah, I need you to work with me every day like that. It sure makes my job better.
You sure that's too far? Hey, probably check. Yeah.
No, this is 90. I think it's good. It's just all. I guess if it's over, I can take it out. Woo, that's probably over.
Yeah.
Okay, now lift that lever all the way. Okay.
Things on.
Huh?
Should have put some ear plugs in or something.
And that's how I make my fuel tanks.
Yep, I've helped with everyone.
Thank you, dear.
You're welcome.
Love you. Meow. Meow. Not sure if any of you guys have ever used these or not, but this is probably the biggest one I've ever got. It works they work very awesome, but it's a Holley hydromat. And what I do is I'll weld some little pieces down inside the tank to bolt it down on the corners. But look at that, this thing sucks every last drop out of this tank. Back in the day, I used to do fittings. I'd weld fittings and we'd put a taper in it to try and get all the fuel out, or we'd build a trap inside and do all that dumb stuff. But it's a whole lot of unnecessary work when you got one of these. So thank you, Holley, for making such a cool thing. You can see this old Land Cruiser I did in 2005. It's got fittings coming out of the bottom of the tank, which not the best, especially when you put it on an incline, because then all your fuel's back here in the back. But these things are pretty badass and work good.
Now that I did all the hard work, breaking the fuel tank over
was a hell of a show car. Like
Podcast.
it made good noise and wheelie up every hill out there, but it wasn't that perfect crawler, you know, and I realized it after he kind of made fun of me. Okay, back at it. So I'm making some little pedestals, 1024, and what they're gonna do is they're gonna weld in here. You might have seen it on one of my other fuel tank builds, but there's 4 of them in each corner, and it's gonna hold this fuel mat down. So I TIG weld them in there, and then I'll start making end caps. And I don't have my parts. I have a mock-up plate that I can use, and then I had talked to my brother. He's machining me a little nipple to go up to the fuel tank, and hopefully I can get that stuff in there and work on mounting this thing, because the mounting's probably going to be the hardest part. Okay, I started over. I remembered what a bear it was last time doing these little ones, just trying to hold them and everything. So I stepped it up, made them a little bigger, and I can clamp them, and my big clumsy fingers don't knock them around, so this will be a lot quicker. That was much easier, a lot bigger pedestals. Got them all threaded and in there, and I started laying this out. What I'm going to do is I'm going to make my own little piece that welds in the tank, and then I'm going to cut it out, and then the Pyrotech is sending me a plate that has the fuel pump mounts and the bosses and everything in it, so it'll be all clean and stuff, and that's going to go in the middle so I can access everything inside. And then right here in this corner, of course, there's going to be a neck going to the filler neck, and we'll figure the rest out as we go. I'm going to transfer punch these, and then I'll punch them out after I cut it out. I've got this all laid out and cut out and everything. This is going to be the one that actually welds in here, but when you weld on a surface like this, it does a lot of warping and everything, and I've got to cut the center out for the real plate, because this plate, well, not this one, but another one like it, is going to go there, and then this one will be underneath. So the gasket is set right here, and that's what I gotta figure out, how I'm gonna get it up in there and hold it to do everything. Well, it's getting later. I welded this ring in, and like always, it warps the shit out of it because it's such heavy material. My welds, they don't look good because I don't fit inside there to weld worth of shit. That's just some excuses, LOL. But all that's in. I got this in. This piece right here. This isn't my fill plate, but see these little tabs, and then it's machined a little bit. So this actually locks in there, and then the gasket sits in flush. Next time, I think if I do this, I'll probably just order a damn nut ring and not even dick with it. I'll just cut the hole and drill like these holes would be drilled into this, and this would be flat. It wouldn't have this recess, and then you just light I don't know what kind of material it is, but it's like an aluminum with a gasket material maybe, instead of doing this. This is too much work, but I'm impatient and I didn't want to wait for the stuff to get here, so I figured, oh, I'll just make it. But now look at me, I got a warped ass tank. When it's all done, you won't notice. I'll sand the shit out of it. Now I'm getting ready to do the side caps, and I break them. I put a 1-inch break on the sides. I call it box braking, and what it does is it just gives this a lot of support. You know, most people when they build aluminum tanks or even steel, they just butt weld. They just put a piece of sheet there, and it's very weak. So when you box break that and it slides in, it's almost like a gusset. And then you also have a brake that sticks out, I don't know, 1/8 inch to 3/16, and you got a good fillet weld, and it's very strong. I think I've done a video on a tank before, so if you've seen it, oh well. If not, there's this one too. You just hate when you waste material. I laid this out perfect, and this was on the other end, and I forgot to put my 1 inch on this side. And I'm running low on material too. Damn it. Life's a real treat. Scrapping this piece, I broke it, and I'm just gonna weld this 1 inch on, and I'll weld it inside and out so it won't be any weaker, and I won't be wasting material. Okay. That's what it looks like when it's box broke. I leave it out about a 1/4 inch, and then I just fill that whole thing with a big fat weld. And that's what makes it strong, because there's 1 inch of material in here. It's not just a square edge. You can see where it warped when I welded it, but after I DA it for a little bit, it'll look good. So I sanded all my little booger spots off, and I'll get to laying some weld down. It's midnight, so hopefully I get it done before 1. I'm tired. And for those of you that haven't seen, I put this pipe vise on here, and that's what I use to steady my hand as I'm running across here. That way I don't have to stop, and just kind of keeps my hand from melting, and it's a good steady. Not too bad for a blind redneck. I'm making pretty good time. I only got this last weld, so I might be able to be in the bath by 1. Done. Now I just gotta DA it some more, clean it up. Turned out pretty good other than that warping on top. Well, it's 1:05. I got the shop cleaned up, ready to go again tomorrow. Tomorrow we'll try and get this tank mounted. I gotta weld some pieces on it so it holds it up, and then we'll get it in there. Time to go take me a nice long bath and rest my feet. Trying to get creative this morning. It was sucked in on this side from welding. You just never know what it's gonna do. You know, this aluminum moves so much. I got this side was popped out, and the other side was popped in. So I got a tube stuffed in there, and I got it spotted, so I should be good. So next, I got the tank. This is a cross member just for a tie down for the top of the tank. It's just a piece of angle iron, and it's also just a flange to bolt the other part of the floor. I'm gonna make a deal that comes up and over and down, and then I'll put them pieces in it, and that'll all weld into the floor. And then my speaker box will actually do the same thing. It will cover that up and then set on top of it and be angled. And then them tins, I think, are gonna be pointing towards the front. I'm waiting for a call back from Nathan to see where he wants the ports and everything, but for now I'm gonna get this floor covered up. The tank fits like a dang charm. So I'll show you what I got for a piece here. This is my layout. I'm gonna cut this angle. This will be broke up and stuff, so you'll see. I'll show you. I made a pattern. This is the brake, so it's gonna go like this. And I wanted to start, I'm gonna go ahead and cut this out now. These brakes on these points like this don't work out so hot. That's why I left this cut out in here. Now I'm gonna cut it out because the inside brakes don't matter. And then I'll have less load on my brake. Here's what we got going on right now. Making all this stuff fit, and then I gotta get it welded together. It's not gonna be so easy because I can't get this off the table yet, but I'll weld everything to this piece here and then try and put it in and put the glue to it. Well, again, it's Friday afternoon, and Jess wants me to go to some festivities over in Greer. So I got this all spotted in. We'll go have our fun and then get back to work tomorrow. Donnie should be up with some more stuff for me, but she's coming together good. The mountain goats.
Oh, mountain goats. Oh yeah, look at this one's gonna get the car. Okay, guys.
Look at the little babies.
Don't make fun of me for not knowing.
Jess got me up here to Greer Days. She said you can take a break since you work 18 to 20 hours a day.
Yeah.
The Molly Butler Lodge, there's gonna be a shootout.
That there were no, let's hear it for them. So we thank them for that, and this is a very special Greer Days for us here, so thank you.
I'm too old to fall down. I was hitting the ground. Yeah.
Dear, what did you think of this shootout?
Well, it was pretty corny. But now that I've seen it once, I know I don't need to see it again.
Well, I brought you.
Yeah, thanks for quitting work for that.
Oh, happily. Got all of our links from Brannick, and we got them gold anodized, and Mr. Donnie's putting them together this morning. And I'm working on the little link box cover for the rear. All kinds of stuff going on, and a little cleaning, throwing shit away. And then there's Mrs. Campbell, been at the store all morning buying plants.
Yeah, I'm going to another store though. They don't have enough ground cover plants at all. Like nothing.
They didn't have anything?
No. Not for ground cover. I already stopped and unloaded stuff at the mailbox planter and the planter on the cabin porch. And I've got a few things and a couple rose bushes, but they had nothing for ground cover. They didn't have any of the clover seed I wanted, so I'm gonna go to Christopher's.
Well, Mrs. Campbell's on a shopping spree for plants.
Do you have any more money? I spent all mine.
Yeah, you know where the money's at. It's in that hole we dug out back.
Yeah.
You winning, Donnie?
I mean, I got it in to almost poke out the side right here, but it's off just a little.
I found this chick wandering around now. So we're at Christopher's, gonna look for some more plants for the garden because, you know, Shannon has nothing else to do but dig holes for me. Just kidding. But we love it here. It's a local, family-owned place with a lot of beautiful stuff.
Okay, we got this all welded up. We'll have to get it fit in there and weld it in the car.
We went from the nursery to the spa because Dana said she needed some moisturizing cream or something of that nature. And I left my purse in the truck like a good girl, but now I'm gonna have to go back and get my purse because Miss Christy here is talking to me all about these good face serums, right?
Yes, Eminence Organic Skincare.
What are we looking at over there?
Look at all the stuff I already have that I'm gonna buy.
Yes. Dana is wondering if anyone wants to donate to her skincare routine fund. Just kidding. Nope, we're having fun.
All right, time to glue her in. Got everything fitted as good as I can. Get that in there and weld it up. Donnie's still going to town on the links. They're kind of a pain in the balls because it's on the table. And these hind joints are stiff as shit. But she's coming together.
planted what I can manage to plant without Shannon's help. Filled in our mailbox planter, and then usually we have a bunch of hanging baskets on all the posts, but I don't know if I'm gonna get around to that this year. I did a small basket on our cabin here that we rent out, so I put some mint in, a couple other different little flowers. They're just annuals, not even sure what they're called, but right here. And now I'll see if I can get him to dig me some holes for all the bigger plants in my flower garden.
This way
Okay.
or this way?
I think the other way.
Okay, good. Because this way I get closer to this radius and I have to jam them all the way over. So now where do you think? Like an inch off of here probably? Yeah, about an inch, because then it puts about that much between them.
Yep.
All right, well, thanks for your professional opinion.
The boss has spoken.
I gotta dig holes. Okay, our next little program. I got holes punched in here, and I'm gonna try and get this figured out to do that, and hopefully that works out. Quite the mess going on. I've started to lay out the lights. I'm cutting the hole for my filler neck. I had the tank in there. Donnie went to go grab some hose and stuff, and I'm trying to get this angle perfect so that the hose is the perfect size, so I don't have to put a grommet or anything on it. And then I got I got this side lights cut in. I just gotta drill them. He also went to go get the cap head Allens I forgot to grab, so it's coming together. It's starting to look like a vehicle now. So this is very critical. My radius, this radius right here is what's registering this, and this light bezel is machined to fit it perfect. So what I'm doing is using my tube stack, because that's an 1.5 inch radius, and then I'm just using a hole saw, 1.5 inch hole saw. After I punch that gives me my exact location of where the hole needs to be, and then I just hole saw away and it comes out like that. Material. This is the only one I got. Hopefully I don't mess up. Just a little bitty filler net. Ooh, I'm gonna have to take some more off up here to get the angle right. Hopefully, not too much, but I'll just trim it slowly maybe. That's what she said, huh?
Drilling, tapping the body.
Woo! They got it, came out of there. It's like this switch screws up every now and then, it doesn't reverse. Oh. I didn't drill that one. This side. Well, what do you want for dinner? I haven't been able to get into Charlie since he left.
Yeah? That
Yeah.
busy.
Because they opened up that orchard. Everybody's dog goes there. Alright. We're gonna be putting the shocks on and the links on, and we're gonna lift it off the table and probably try and get it on the ground and cycle it without wheels and tires, just to see. Yeah, she was tacked to the table. She's no longer. Okay. Can we get them in there?
No.
Okay,
Well,
keep
maybe.
going.
Yeah,
Keep-
I think so. We'll be able to slide them in like that and then
Okay.
they'll go. Yeah.
So, anyways, we're gonna get it off the table. Wish us luck. Hopefully we don't have a crash. These new holes are coming in handy, reaching in here to get to stuff. It won't normally be at full bump when you're doing this kind of stuff, but it is right now. We're gonna try and ratchet strap each corner up with the shocks and everything on it and lift it off the table in one shot with the forklift, and hopefully we don't drop it. Well, this is the first time she's had all 4 shocks on. And now it has the rubbers in here, so it's up a little higher, but when this thing's normally sitting at full bump, man, there is an 1/8 inch of clearance everywhere. It's super tight. So she is coming together. Almost ready to pull off the table. Hopefully everything's just spotted because I gotta cycle it. And then I missed on my bump cans. I was thinking the cans came further down on the bump stop. I just got these and I was thinking that they would cover the full body. So when this is on here, when it's all the way down at full bump, this is clear up here. But right now it's got them rubbers on there, so it's not going up that far. But I'm gonna have to cut these pads down 1 inch and redo that, unfortunately.
Up a little more. There you go. Down she goes.
We're checking for clearances, for springs and whatnot. And it looks like everything is just like about as lucky as you can get.
Well, you're a professional, babe.
Yeah, whatever. Professional messer-upper. I might have made it wrong that day, you know?
Talk to me. Talk to me, Goose.
All right, so what we're doing is measuring the drive shaft when it's all the way down, and then we're gonna articulate it and measure it, and our question is it gonna hit the motor mount right there when it articulates? And it's very close. It might make it. I might have to cut some shit out. But
Sounds really scary. I came over to just sit on his lap.
I just forgot what I was doing because she sat on my
I
lap.
know, it's true.
What do you think, boss?
Looks good. When can I drive it?
Talk to the Vision wheel people. We're waiting on wheels.
I know.
But we're gonna try and, we've cycled it. I thought I had a piece of tubing to put in the drive shaft to finish it up, but I must have sent it back. I feel like we are going to clear. I mean, it is, if it does, it's by 1/8 of an inch. but everything looks good. All my shock misalignments and everything are looking good. I'm pretty happy, I think. Looks like the tires are gonna clear the fenders and whatnot. So we're gonna articulate it the other way. We got quite a bit of stuff done today. We got these tail lights in. I'm loving them. We got the fuel tank pretty much buttoned up. I just got to mount it, drill it, and bolt it in. Other than that, I feel like we're good. You guys will have to let me know what you think.
2 thumbs up.
The boss says, she says it's good enough for her. Right?
Yes, that's what the 2 thumbs
Yeah.
up was.
I really love this stupid, whatever, $14 Amazon. That's our cheapest part on there. Arizona Dry Shaft, thank you guys. We'll be calling you on Monday. Get the rest of my stuff and we'll finish her up. So, she works. All right, let's do the other side.
Safety first.
Yeah.
It's very noisy.
Jess might want to keep me around until it's done.
Yeah, I definitely do.
Oh, hard to find good fabricators.
That's for sure.
Just like gate technicians.
I need to lose more weight. I
Too many
can't
around.
fit underneath it.
Yeah, I don't think you need to lose any more weight.
Let's see. So, 39 and a half. Let me check the other side, just see if there's any variance, but it should be. So this rear hardly moves at all.
Which is a good thing.
Yeah.
39 and a half.
39 and
Don't lie.
5/8. That's weird.
Well, do you want somebody else to read the measuring tape for you, just for some
I'd probably get 40 inches.
for support? We know how you are with the
Tell
tape.
them
And it could be our 4-link we gotta adjust a little bit, you know?
38 3/4 all the way, so. Yeah. Well, we got the chassis and everything back on the ground, got the axles out, and we're
Dinner time.
Going to dinner. And then we're gonna get up at like 4 in the morning and I'm gonna finish doing the axles, build the brake lines on the axles so Donnie can take them down and have them sandblasted, and hopefully we'll have that thing rolling next week. Maybe we'll have some wheels. If not, I'm just gonna kill myself. We're here.
He said somebody told him that, and I was
At
like,
the chalet.
no way. I'm gonna have to ask him and hear about it.
Yeah. Yeah, I get senior citizen discount now. I'm 55, damn it. Donnie definitely does. He's 60. Stuff is so spicy.
Yeah, it is.
How come I always get the good stuff?
Well, sir, you're on a diet, your wife said.
He's VIP.
And then what's
Yeah,
Donnie
yeah,
got?
tell me gets hooked up.
Then I'm eating for 2 now.
What'd you get?
Dude, that
chicken
looks
fried steak.
amazing. I have never had that here.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to try a bite of all of these.
Talk your hunk off, bud.
I get, here's my dinner. I'm gonna stick to this.
Breakfast of champions.
Yeah. All right, dear. I know you didn't want me ice cream, but I can't get fat alone. Mint moose tracks and an extra chocolate syrup. I got.
Wow, you did get some extra in there, though.
I'm extra fat.
With a PH.
AD.
AD.
Whatever.
Thank you. I love you.
Love you.
All right, time to find a movie.